Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and I'm here with a news-ish type story of Beyonce saying that she will not allow photographers into her shows anymore. That means professional photographers cannot shoot from her pit. They will not accept anybody. All of this is because during the Super Bowl, somebody released some really bad photos of Beyonce. Yes, they were bad photos, and it's up to the photographer not to release crappy shots. There is a thing called integrity of a photographer, where you don't put out things that make somebody look piss poor or bad. Now, the problem was that Beyonce's manager or PR agent sent that person an email and asked them to remove the not so flattering images. Now, I understand that, and it started a whole storm of events where it was like, it just spread the images around even more because people wanted to see what were these not so flattering images. Now, they weren't that bad. The images aren't that bad, but anytime that you start to stifle photographers or you stifle anything, people are going to want to find a way to get around that. So to ban all photographers from the tour is not a good thing. Because what's going to happen is if you can't shoot the show, you can't send a photographer there. Maybe you'll buy a ticket for them and send them in to try to get pictures, or you're just going to try and buy pictures from people who are in the front row or people who are at the show, and those pictures are going to suck. There are not going to be great images that come off of a cell phone or a point-and-shoot camera at a concert that are bought from a fan. That is not a good thing. But what Beyonce's camp is saying is that we will supply news outlets with images that are approved from each show, meaning Beyonce has her own photographer on tour that takes the photos, and they release those photos to different magazines. Now, not every magazine or newspaper or publication online wants to run the same picture that everybody else is showing. That's why they send their own photographers. Now, let's look at this in a certain way. The pictures that are going to be released and purchased from people in the stands and the crowd are going to be a lot worse than the ones that are taken from people in the pit. This is not a way to stop bad pictures from getting out there. There are a lot of photographers shooting in the pit that may not belong there now. I may catch some flack for saying that, but it's true. Not everybody belongs in the pit. They're not ready, or they don't know what they're doing when they get there to capture the images with the proper exposures and the proper moments. Now, Beyonce's not the first person to do this. I know that Pink did this. I know that Pink doesn't allow photographers to shoot. She had a photographer come in and take the pictures, and they're using those throughout the entire tour. I love when I have all access and nobody else is in the pit and I get all those shots. But as somebody who knows a lot of bands, not to stutter, but as somebody who knows a lot of musicians, you want the publicity. You want people to take pictures. You want people to share them. So what if some of them may not look the best? But I will leave this with photographers have the job to keep their integrity. Jim Marshall talked about this when I sat with him before he passed away, about nobody ever complained about pictures he put out. If there wasn't a flattering image of somebody, he would not release it. If he caught somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing, he would not release it. So as a photographer, we have a duty not to put out crappy photos. One, why would you want to put out a crappy photo that's not flattering? You look bad, like you don't know how to capture a great image. Two, you're making the person you're photographing look bad, and you don't want to do that because they are the people that you get paid to photograph. So I see both sides of allowing people in and not allowing people in. I'd be more for them screening the photographers that get in, finding their portfolios and looking at their work, which would be a lot more work for them to do, which is why they probably don't want to do it. But that is what has happened today. There are so many people that have tried to get into the pit, or that get into the pit, whether they're with point and shoots, basic. It doesn't matter what camera they have, whether they have a D4 or the entry-level Rebel. If they don't know what they're doing with it, they're not going to capture the best images in the world, and they're not putting out flattering images. I would not say no to photographers in the pit. I'd rather have them take pictures from the pit than buy pictures from the people in the first two rows. They're not going to look great. So I see both sides of this. I know where I stand on this. Where do you guys stand on this? Leave a comment below. What do you think? Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.